Greetings. Frederick Riddle here with another episode of Christian News and Views. This is episode 223, and this is Bible Talk. Today we're going to look at a little bit of history concerning the Bible. We're going to look at the Gutenberg Bible. This is the first complete book extant in the West and one of the earliest printed from movable type, so-called after its printer, Johannes Gutenberg, who completed it about 1455, working at Mainz, Germany. Now, the 3-volume work in Latin text was printed in 42-line columns, and in its later stages of production was worked on by 6 compositors simultaneously. It is sometimes referred to as the Mazarin Bible because the first copy described by bibliographers was located in the Paris Library of Cardinal Mazarin. The anthology of great Buddhist priest Zen teachings in 1377, also known as Jekji, was printed in Korea 78 years before the Gutenberg Bible, and is recognized as the world's oldest extant movable metal type book. Like other contemporary works, the Gutenberg Bible had no title page, no page numbers, and no innovations to distinguish it from the work of a manuscript copyist. This was presumably the desire of both Gutenberg and his customers. Experts are generally agreed that the Bible, though uneconomic in its use of space, displays a technical efficiency not substantially improved upon before the 19th century. The Gothic type is majestic in appearance, medieval in feeling, and slightly less compressed and less pointed than other examples that appeared shortly thereafter. The original number of copies of this work is unknown. Some 40 are still in existence. Think about that one. There are perfect vellum copies in the U.S. Library of Congress, the French Bibliothèque Nationale, and the British Library. In the United States, almost complete texts are in the Huntington Morgan, New York Public, Harvard University, and Yale University libraries, which is all very interesting. I find that when you want just kind of looking at the history of the Bible. Wasn't the first one printed, but it was the first one in the West printed. Now, the man who invented it, his name was Johannes Gutenberg. He was born in the 14th century in Mainz, Germany, and probably died around February 3rd, 1468. Mainz was a German craftsman and investor who originated a method of printing from movable type. Elements of his invention are thought to have included a metal alloy that could melt readily and cool quickly to form durable, reusable type, an oil-based ink that could be made sufficiently thick to adhere well to metal type and transfer well to vellum or paper, and a new press. And a new press likely adapted from those used in producing wine, oil, or paper for applying firm, even pressure to printing surfaces. Let's just pause there for a second. That's a very interesting fact that I don't know that I've ever heard before. You always hear about it, and you see it, and I've actually seen replicas of the printing press. And maybe, who knows, maybe the person talking about it may have mentioned these things, but it didn't stick. But this is very interesting. Reason it didn't stick is I quite often don't listen to these. These are people who are paid to give a speech that may or may not be true. So you can't really cite it as a reference, but usually they're generally informative. Okay. None of these features existed in the European technique used up to that time for stamping letters on various surfaces or in woodblock printing. Gutenberg's printing press was considered a history-changing invention, making excuse me, making books widely accessible and ushering in an information revolution. So this is interesting to me from different aspects. First of all, I love the Bible, and anything that has to do with the Bible, I'm interested in. I'm also interested in history. I love history, and to learn these kinds of facts, to see them in print, and as an author myself, I benefit from all this. This is what makes what I do possible. And so that's just very, I just find it very interesting. And I thought you might as well, especially since it has to do with the Bible. The Gutenberg Bible, like I said, they don't have quite a few still in existence. 40 they mentioned earlier. So that is something that's really unique. And if you get a chance to see one, do so. Uh, we had a display of Bibles not too many years ago down here in Florida, and my wife and I went to it, and I do believe, if my memory serves me right, that they did have a Gutenberg Bible there, and so it was probably on loan. A lot of the stuff they had there at that time would be borrowed from other libraries for a certain time and then returned. And I believe they had a Gutenberg Bible as well as other Bibles as well, in addition. So, but it's very interesting, and it gives you a little bit of a feel of why the Bible looks the way it is today. Last time I talked about chapters and verses. Today we talked about the very printing. Who knows what I'll talk about next week? I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so. It encourages me, and I always try to inform you, to encourage you, and to inspire you. That's my goal. Do I achieve it? You're the sole judge. Each person out there, you are the judge. Because if it doesn't touch you, then I failed in that aspect as far as reaching you. But again, I thank you for stopping by and watching, and I will see you in the next episode.